Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you tonight. And if you guys want to call and ask questions, you can't, because Blog Talk is down again. Beeb, why do we pay for this? Why do we pay for Blog Talk? It is the worst. I'm going to tell you right now, it is the worst platform I have ever used in my entire life. You can just be down, and they'll refund. They'll give me they're going to give me a refund. Put it that way. But this has got to be the worst platform on the planet. How you can actually run a business like this? How does their business model work? Really, we're going to work maybe 3/4 of the time, and then that's it. And then you guys, I hate it. I hate Blog Talk. If you're listening, you suck. Absolutely suck. You are the worst platform ever.
I'll bring this up at the production meeting tomorrow.
You bring it up. You write it down. You bring it up, and you play the tape at the production meeting tomorrow.
Write this down, Lois.
Oh my God!
One of our topics.
Is she inflated now, or what are you doing?
She's inflated with my love. She is.
Wow. That's TMI. Yeah.
You opened yourself up for it.
She is inflated with Beeb's love. Oh my God. Who's the worst? Please say it again. Blog Talk. Blog Talk sucks. Absolutely horrible. And there's other, and let me tell you this, there is other programs out there, but they all, they're going to cost more. I guess you get what you pay for. No, I guess that's it. We get what we pay for. Yeah. Notorious says blessing in disguise. No Robbie call at least. That's horrible.
You got to start showing Robbie some respect.
You do, or just like in general?
People in the chat got to start showing Robbie some respect. He's going to be buying all 3 pay-per-views in this short period of time. He's canceling a couple Applebee's dinners with Mrs. Herrick. And
we have reservations.
He's going to have to stretch that check this month just so he can afford to buy these pay-per-views. So, guys, show the guy some respect.
There you go.
Please.
There you go. Gavin's Ghost said, I thought you were talking about DAZN for a second.
Let's
talk about him. Yeah. Let's talk about DAZN. Yeah, because they're up there with Blog Talk. Let's talk about this card last night, because it was kind of a showcase card, B, but I think we knew that going in. Yeah. Jose Ramirez versus Francis Bartholomy. Francis Bartholomy is 38 years old, Beeb. 38. I want to, because the fights were not stellar last night. I think we all know that. They weren't competitive. You know what I mean? I don't think they were that competitive. I know they had said something about the main event being competitive. It's not. 119 is not competitive, son. Well, I'm sorry. It's not.
Bartholomy won tops 3 rounds. 2 or 3.
3.
Yeah.
The judges gave him 1 round. 119-108, 119-109, and 118-110. So 2 rounds by 1 judge.
2 or 3 rounds. 2 or 3.
Not the epitome of competitive. I got to say.
Well, again, there was that moment in round 3. Okay, and I hate to always complain every week about the referees or the judges or the cornermen or the broadcasters, but
that's kind of what we do.
We do that a lot. But it comes from a place of constructive criticism.
Heart. Comes from our heartbeat.
So once again, you see the situation in round 3. Okay. Bartholomy hits Ramirez with the left hand, staggers him, and follows up, I think, with a couple more body shots and I think another left hand. And Ramirez falls for it, tries to grab him. And as he tries to reach out and grab him, Bartholomy steps back, pulls his arms away, and Ramirez goes down. right? And then, as Ramirez is going down, Bartholomy's still throwing punches, whatever. Where the fuck are you, Jack Reese? Where are you? Where are you to say stop? That's number one. And where are you to get in there and get a count? But no. You call it a slip. And I'm getting tired of this.
Jack Reese is horrible too.
I'm tired of the A-side privilege, because even though Ryan was the bigger name, Devin Haney was kind of the A-side of that whole thing.
He was. And he definitely got privileged by that referee last week. Yeah. So
I'm tired of seeing guys reach out and try to grab their opponent when they're hurt and they're falling down and the opponent pulls back, pulls away, and it's called a push. No, that's a fucking knockdown. And then you're sitting there chastising him for those punches when he was down. But if you got in there in time and you yelled stop and you were in position to stop, and if you gave him a count, all that precious time wouldn't have been eaten away at the clock. So Bartholomy got fucking screwed in more ways than one in that round. Now, I'm not saying he would have knocked him out, but at least he would have had an opportunity to knock him out, So, again, a lot of people are criticizing Ramirez because he did have that rough patch. And some people are saying that he's lucky that, it happened at the end of the round. He's lucky that Jack Reese gave him extra time. Some people are claiming he could have got stopped. We'll never know. But we'll never know because of what Jack Reese did and how he handled that situation. So, again,
Ramirez was not going to get stopped in that round.
Probably not. But again, why leave that open to interpretation if you're not doing the right thing?
True.
I don't think he would have got stopped either. He's a tough guy. We say this all the time, right? We knew going in Bartholomy, with all due respect, 38 years old, especially at 140 pounds, he wasn't much of a threat to Ramirez, or at least we thought he wasn't. He was for that split second in round 3, but other than that, we had a couple good rounds, but
it's 38.
38.
He's 38.
But we say this all the time. We weren't looking at Ramirez versus Bartholomy. We're looking at Ramirez, and we're saying to ourselves that what he's showing to us in that ring against Bartholomy, what if it's one of the other top guys in there or the other champions? So that's how we gauge it. And with all due respect, I didn't see anything last night that would lead me to believe that he would beat Isaac Cruz, Devin Haney, or Subriel Matias.
No.
Some of the things that were said last night, I think were spot on. They did, I think it was mentioned, I can't remember who said it, but it was mentioned during the broadcast. He's kind of a repetitious pattern fighter, which he is. Doesn't have great upper body movement, squares up sometimes. Not great from the outside. He's most effective when he gets close up in your chest, and he beats you with pressure and volume. But he's not the fastest guy in the world. Doesn't have the best defensive reflexes. Not a real explosive, fast, twitchy type guy. He's kind of a plotter, clunky at times, with all due respect. And he's a clubber, right? But he beats you with volume. He's got a decent left hook, but a lot of times he just opens it wide and he kind of clubs with it. It's not like Ryan Garcia throwing that hook from the elbow. Boom. He's like, boom. Like it's like and the right
it's coming from the floor almost, Yeah,
and the right hand, sometimes he kind of reaches with it. He's not the most accurate puncher in the world, but he is a solid fighter. He's definitely a top 10 fighter. But again, we're looking at him. Can he be champion again? And it's crazy that I'm being so critical of him. And he was a unified champion at this weight class, but he had struggled in other fights. Didn't look great against Josh Taylor. Did not look great against Victor Postal. Had some rough patches, and even in the fight with the guy Maurice Hooker, he did win that fight by knockout, but he was struggling in those rounds, and it was a very close fight up until the time of stoppage. What he does get by on is he's in great shape. He does throw a lot of punches. He's a pressure guy, and he wears you down, right? So you got to give him credit with that. And he does have a decent left hook, but again, it's not that quick, snappy, explosive left hook. It's kind of a clubbing shot. But if he does land it to the body or to the head, he can get your attention. So there's nothing flashy about this guy. There's nothing dynamic about this guy, but he's a meat and potatoes solid fighter. Now, being a meat and potatoes solid fighter at 140. Is that enough to beat Matias? Is that enough to beat Teofimo Lopez? Is that enough to beat Devin Haney? I'm going to say no, because again, those guys are all. Matias is a great inside fighter, and he can hit harder than Ramirez. The other two guys are just too quick. Do
you think this would be a good get back fight for Devin Haney?
Yes.
It'd be a great fight, right?
Yes.
To get some, to get some of that confidence back, to get, because I think it could be a really dominant fight for him,
Sure.
I think that's a great fight for Haney. But again, at Jose Ramirez's expense. Virgil Ortiz versus Thomas Delorme. Listen, I didn't know Thomas Delorme was still around. I really didn't. And by the looks of it last night, he shouldn't have been around. First round blowout, body shot. He wasn't
around that long. He
sure wasn't. Yeah, he collected a check, and that was it, man. I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, again, a body shot puts him out 239, I believe. It was something like that in the first round. I told you, I'm like, when I saw his name on there, I was like, is that guy still fighting? Like, why?
Well, I said the same thing about Bartholomy. Like,
right, who put this together? You know what I mean? Like, these aren't competitive.
And again, I don't want to. Again, I hate being the negative Nelly, but I remember when Barboza and Ramirez were over at Top Rank, and you had that manager over there talking shit about how Top Rank wasn't getting them the fights. Meanwhile, Ramirez turned down the Tio fight twice. Barboza was turning down.
Why did he turn that fight down?
Allegedly, he said he was getting married or something, and Barboza said it wasn't enough money. So now they go over to Golden Boy thinking that they're going to enter the Ryan Garcia sweepstakes. This guy's not even fighting at 140 anymore.
No.
He has no reason to fight you. So now, you're fighting, Thomas Delorme, and then you got a Thomas Delorme fight, but now you got Bartholomy, and you had Barboza fighting someone on the Devin Haney undercard, I believe it was, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I scored the fight a draw. So you say to yourself, like, coming over to Golden Boy, like, is the grass always greener? You have to say to yourself, right?
At Golden Boy,
yeah, because
at Golden Boy,
yeah.
Well, you got a guy. You got Oscar De La Hoya. You never know what's going to happen with that guy. I mean, that guy's all over the place with news and all the kind of stupid stuff and everything going on, trying to promote himself and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the last place you probably want to be.
Yeah. And then when you look at this Virgil Ortiz fight, it was weird. It didn't even look like that punch really landed. But again, I wasn't in there taking the shot.
Yeah.
But you say to yourself, did Delorme say to himself, you know what? Do I want to get up and go 12 rounds with this guy, or do I want to just call it a night? I mean, I don't want to make accusations here, but I don't know. It didn't look like he was really that enthusiastic about getting up after that shot.
No. So and I'll tell you, what do you think of now? Virgil Ortiz is we'll talk about this a little bit later too, but he's getting ready to fight Tim Tszyu.
Yeah.
That ain't an easy fight. That's a good fight, I think, for both guys.
Yeah.
I favor Tim Tszyu in there, but that's not a walkover.
I like Tim Tszyu in that fight. And I still question, again, Virgil Ortiz hasn't really gone rounds.
Health issues, right?
We don't know how he's going to deal with how that rhabdomyolysis situation is right now.
What was the deal with that? What is that again, the rhabdomyolysis?
I guess it's an issue with your kidneys not being able to function properly, and causes fatigue in your muscles.
I tell you, you got to really think twice before getting into with something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So the question remains: is that something that you're going to have to deal with the rest of your life?
Yeah, who knows?
Or can you just get by and mitigate the symptoms and the problems that come along with it? Is it all just you mitigating it, or can you fully contain that and eliminate all the issues that arise from that condition? How do you deal with that? Because anytime there's an issue with your kidneys, I don't think that's all you can do is just kind of mitigate. You can just mitigate. I don't think you can fully reverse a kidney problem.
I don't know.
I'm not a doctor, but
right.
From what I've heard and stuff, those kidney kidney disorders are pretty serious issues. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's the thing. You know, he's saying he wants to fight at 154, but since his comeback, he's not made the weight. Now I know these aren't title fights; they're not eliminators. I get all that, but it would be nice, right? It would be nice if you know, that he could at least try to make the weight to see how he could do it, you know? So
yeah. Eduardo Escobar says, just drink Prime. It's 100% right. Prime cures everything. There you go. No more kidney problems for your guy here. Oscar Duarte versus JoJo Diaz. Duarte smashes JoJo Diaz in 9 for the TKO. Diaz has lost 4 of his last 5 fights?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Diaz, man.
Another showcase, yeah.
Diaz is a guy that you would get by on his aggression, if he get by on his volume, and he would just kind of like try to outwork guys. But you know, he's lived a hard life outside the ring. And he's 31 years old, but in boxing years, he's probably 41 with the life he's lived and some of all these tough fights he's been in. And this was also mentioned during the broadcast. I think Sergio Mora said it. I think Corey Erdman said it as well. He's like, he's never been a big puncher. And the more times every time he's moved up in weight, he hasn't been effective because he can't hit hard enough to keep these bigger, stronger guys off him. And, you know, Duarte was definitely the bigger, stronger guy. His punches had more effect, and he was really hurting JoJo Diaz with everything he threw. And here's the thing, like, not only like is he not big and strong at the higher weights, he was never the fastest guy in the world at 130. So he's not going to be moving up. He's going to be even slower at these bigger weights. And you know, he wants to get on the inside and he wants to bang it out, but he was being backed up all night. So it's just, I don't know how successful, if at all, he's going to be at 140 or even 135. And he sure as hell can't go back down to 130. So this guy has a real dilemma ahead of him. Is he going to be that fighter that these younger up and coming guys use as a litmus test to see if I can get to the next level? See, again, he could still get fights. He can still make money, but it's going to take its toll. And you know, what's the trade-off here? Are you going to just keep taking these fights for these young up and coming guys? And this, you know, you've never been stopped before, but again, you hit the wall last night. Like, anyone can be stopped. So now, once you get stopped, is that going to be a reoccurring incident where you're just going to be in these tough fights and the wear and tear is just going to pile on? And then you have to look at quality of life when you walk away from this game. That's what you really have to look at. Even though you're 31 years old, again, you're an old 31. You know what I mean?
Listen, you've lost 4 of your last 5.
Yes.
It's time to face some music here. You're 31 years old. You got a number of fights under your belt, but you've lost 4 of your last 5 to up-and-coming guys. Listen, you're not stupid. You know where this is at. And even if you're in denial, which I'm sure a lot of people are at that point.
He said he'll be back. I don't know.
That's where his managers, that's where his family have got to come in and say, look, it's over.
Yeah.
Find, you know, listen, you want to work around it, that's fine. But listen, man, you're done. It's not worth it anymore.
If he's going to stay at 140, he's got a mountain to climb up there fighting those guys. He's going to have a tumultuous road ahead.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, and, you know, what about his, you know, De La Hoya and all the Golden Boy? Come on. I mean, they could care less.
They'll just keep putting them in there and using them as
let me tell you something.
Someone to fill up the card.
That was evident by the Ryan thing. They could care less. Now, listen, Ryan won the fight and he wanted him. I get you. But I still think that was Crazy Ryan. I don't think that was a show. I think that was Crazy Ryan. And by the way, I love Crazy Ryan now. However, leading into that fight, they probably should have had some, you know, some words with him. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know? And that was it. That was the end of the fights, right, Beeb? There was nothing else on that card.
Wasn't much else to talk about. No.
What about that chick fight on there? Wasn't there a chick fight?
Oh, I forgot about that.
This girl came in fat. she came in heavy and then she lost her title on the scale or something like that. That's cold-blooded, Beeb.
That's right.
So what happened in that fight? Anything major?
Well, Esparza.
It just looked like a regular cat fight that you would see on the corner somewhere.
I mean, it was an okay fight.
Come on, Beeb. Don't sugarcoat it. Say what it is.
It was an okay fight, but it was kind of sloppy. You know, it was kind of a sloppy fight.
There we go. Beeb's coming around, baby.
I'll be honest. It was a sloppy fight.
Yeah.
Alanis.
They're just not good.
Yeah,
it's just not good boxing.
They were throwing wide shots. They were kind of slapping with their punches. Like it's like I like women's boxing, but
did it look like one of those street TikTok videos where two chicks are fighting?
Yeah, I mean, this was just a sloppy fight.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, it did.
You
know,
know,
you just admitted it looked like one of those. I agree with you, buddy. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I don't know. It was just like Esparza looked kind of heavy. Alanis,
wow,
she looked a little thick. So yeah.
You just said that she looked fat. Wow.
She looked like she had some excess pounds to her.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I have to be honest.
That's far more cold-blooded than anything I've ever said.
I kind of framed it a little differently than you would have. I mean,
did you though? I mean,
yeah, I kind of.
Marlon's kind of chunky.
I felt as though I was a lot more tactful than you would have been in the presentation of that.
She looked like she could be Eric's little sister.
Oh shit! Yeah, I just thought this was a sloppy fight. Like there wasn't a lot of clean punches landed. There was a lot of winging. There was a lot of like winging and slapping with punching, and
she was pleasantly plump. Wow,
yeah.
This is busting on her weight. I can't believe you called her fat, man.
There just wasn't a lot of clean punches landed in this fight. There's just a lot of flailing I felt, and it was just a very sloppy fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But she was pretty fat, huh? I mean, like, what weight was this at?
I think this was at 115 pounds. So it was super flyweight.
So she came in at what, 125, 130? What she come in at?
Actually, I'm sorry. This was at flyweight. She came in at 114, and Alana's coming at 111. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. That other chick, Chucky chick or whatever her name
She was 3 pounds over. So, yeah, this is a flyweight fight.
3 pounds over?
Yeah. She came in
Jesus.
at 2 pounds over. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what. It's a good thing she went in one of those Vegas shows, man. They would have kicked her right out.
Yeah, she came over.
They weigh them right there.
Yeah, she came in. She came in at 2 pounds over.
Eduardo Escobar says we can't say women fat; it gets us canceled.
Yeah,
sorry.
So
I don't. Beeb, listen, hey, and if anything, Beeb said she was fat, not me. I just said,
she lost her titles on the scale. Right, she lost her WBA, or WBC, WBO flyweight titles on the scale. And Alanis, shout out to her, she became the new champion with a split decision victory.
It was still a split decision after all that.
It's just a sloppy fight, man. Like it was like not a lot of clean shots were landed, but you could argue that Alanis was more of the aggressor. She was the one coming forward more. So
he said there was still mustard on her face. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
you guys are terrible, man. You guys are terrible in the chat, man. I don't know how you guys live with yourselves, man. The scale should be the champion. And the only reason, I'm going to tell you guys this right now, the only reason Beeb's not even cracking a smile right now, because he has to do the show with D-Style, and he always brings women reporters in there and stuff like that, and they'll single you out, son.
There's always females on the panel.
Do you say, I mean, do you like tell them like it is, Beeb, right?
Well, when I'm on the show tomorrow, because I have to do it on Mondays now, because I guess the schedule changed. So I'll just say she was overweight.
She was overweight.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was over the weight limit.
Over the weight limit.
Yeah. She was.
Did they have to weigh her at a truck stop? I mean, what happened? I mean,
I can't even say she was like she looked heavy. Like she looked
she looked puffy.
She looked
like
puffy. because the girls will get a little oversensitive. You know how that is.
I don't actually. I say what I want when I want, so I don't know how that is.
Well, I mean,
I'm not really the gentleman you are. I let people know what time it is. I'm the honest guy here.
Yeah. I show a little decorum when I'm on these female panels. I don't want to be on a panel and make these females get upset. I don't want them to cry or anything. You know how I am.
I got to be honest. Even if they did go to 3-minute rounds, I still wouldn't watch it. They're just not it. Listen, it is what it is. The UFC, when I watch them in the UFC, they're pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like, because they know, if you get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu or a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, you guys all follow the same thing. You guys all follow the same pattern of rules to get to that point. You know what I mean? And in MMA and stuff like that, it's a lot of the same way. So the people are really good in there. Here, it's just not the case.
Well, when you do 2-minute rounds, when you do 10 rounds instead of 12, it's a way of saying that it's a way of admitting we're just not as good as the men because we have to have our own set of rules.
Right.
So
HLD says she looked like a Clorox bottle with short arms and legs.
Yeah, she is kind of.
Let me tell you what. I love this that you have to suppress your laughter. I love that you have to suppress your laughter. All right. And I know you're doing it too. I know for a fact you're doing it because you got to go on there Monday night and then you got to deal with the backlash. I love it. I love it. Honest opinions about Inoue versus Neri real quick. Listen, man, that's a good fight. Inoue versus Neri is a really good fight 4 or 5 years ago. However, I will say Neri still has that power. Neri can still put you away. Inoue should be favored. Inoue will win the fight because he's got more ways to win. He can outbox Neri and he can outpower Neri. But Neri has got that power, and that is a big deal. However, he is on the dark side of his career, though.
And you know that Neri is going to come to fight, and
he's going to be right in his face. I think he's going to be right in his chest. That fight doesn't go long.
He's not going away quietly, but he will go away, in my opinion.
Reese Mack said D-Style would let you twist in the wind. All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights. Enough girl bashing from Beeb here. Let's talk about the fights here. Beeb, I am appalled at your role in this, by the way.
Sorry.
Well, hey, sometimes sorry doesn't cut it, does it?
I know. We'll talk about it in the meeting tomorrow.
in the HR meeting? May 4th, next week. Prime pay-per-view, Beeb, and DAZN pay-per-view. What announcers are they going to use for this fight?
I think they're going to be using the Prime announcers actually, like they did with the Garcia Tank fight.
I can deal with that. I can deal with the Prime announcers. I don't like the DAZN announcers. Though.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Mungia. 12 rounds for Alvarez's super middleweight undisputed, Beeb.
Disputed title, huh?
Championship. Brandon Figueroa versus Jesse Magdaleno. 12 rounds for Figueroa's WBC interim featherweight title. Mario Barrios versus Fabian Andres Maidana. Marcos's brother, isn't it? That his brother?
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe
12
so.
rounds for Barrios's WBC interim welterweight title. And then Imanta Stanois versus Gabriel Maestre for 12 rounds for Stanois's WBA regular welterweight title. That's a decent card.
It's an okay card.
It is. It's an okay card. It's an okay card. Nothing that jumps out at you. I think that there's it's a lot of showcase fights. I think it's some showcase fights there, including the main event. May 4th, there's a Japan card on May 4th also, but it's not it doesn't look like it's televised. All right. Let's talk about the one on May 6th. All right. Naoya Inoue versus Luis Neri, 12 rounds for Inoue's junior featherweight undisputed championship. Now that's going to be on Monday or Tuesday?
Probably. What's the date listed there?
The 6th. So what is that? Let me see.
It'd probably be
It's the Monday, but
probably in the morning.
yeah. I wonder if it's Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Because you know how they have the time differences and everything like that? I don't know.
It could be the 5th on but the 6th for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, so that's a good fight as well. Takuma Inoue on the undercard versus Sho Ishida. Jason Maloney on that card. Jason Maloney's always on those cards.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's always on those cards. But let's talk about the big fight. We'll talk about that other one next week. Let's talk about the big fight. Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Mungia. Beeb, let me tell you what. Listen, a lot of people think this is a close fight. I don't really think that. A lot of people think this fight is going to be fairly competitive. I don't really think that either. I've always viewed Munguia as a contender, not necessarily a top-tier champion like he's fighting on May 4th. So before we give our predictions here, let's break everything down. As far as speed, I think that Canelo has a speed difference. I think he's going to be faster than Munguia. I think that Munguia is just slow. He's kind of plodding. They accuse Canelo's feet of being slow and plodding, but I think that Canelo is the faster guy. What say you?
I think Canelo has the faster hands. I'm curious to see, though, the foot speed, because Munguia is pretty quick on his feet. Doesn't have the fastest hands in the world. So I think overall, I would say Canelo's the faster, because the hands, I think that even if he has quick feet, how much quicker is the feet than Canelo's foot speed as well? Because Canelo, since he's moved up, I think the guys have kind of not as quick as they were in the lower weight classes. So even though he's not the quickest guy on his feet, it's not that different in comparison to these guys at 168, right? You know what I'm saying? With the exception of Plant. So yeah, I'll give Canelo overall the speed advantage, even though I don't think he has blazing fast feet.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think either one of them are, Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia here, but speed advantage, I think, has to go to Canelo. Strength. I think that, I'll be honest with you, I think they're pretty even, but I would give Munguia the edge here.
Physical strength, yeah, I give it to
Physical
Munguia.
strength, I would give him the edge, yeah.
Yeah.
I would give him the edge. Now, punching power and everything like that, I think I got to go with. I don't know. The strength is listen, man. Munguia is younger. He's a young, strong kid, man.
Yeah. The thing with Canelo though is he's not really putting the shots together like Munguia puts shots together. So I think at this stage, I think the power is comparable, but I would still favor Canelo with the power. But Munguia has enough power, and he brings volume along with that power to pose a threat to Canelo. So I would give the power advantage to Canelo as well, be honest.
Listen, man, Munguia's got 34 knockouts. And, Adam Hurley said, he doesn't have the greatest resume. 34 knockouts. 34 knockouts is a lot. And I don't care who you're fighting at that point. I don't really care who you're fighting. You knock out 43 guys or 34 guys. That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's big, man.
Yeah.
Callie King is predicting Canelo will lose to Jaime Munguia. There you go.
Got to respect it. He was right. He was right about the Haney fight. So
yeah, he was, wasn't he?
I don't want to sleep on his predictions. I don't want to keep saying he's wrong.
You were goofing on his predictions last time.
Oh,
I was the only one that gave him a shot. I was the only one that gave Ryan Garcia a shot.
I told him the night before the fight, I would bet my life Devin Haney's going to win. But I say, just in case Devin Haney loses, can you say a prayer for me? Because I don't want to die. I don't want to wake up dead. I don't want to wake up dead in the morning.
That was one of those fights that you said I would have put my paycheck on. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Boxing ability. This to me is an easy one. It's a Canelo walkover here. I don't think Munguia is the greatest boxer on the planet. I don't think he's got the greatest fundamentals on the planet. I think that Canelo has got better offense, better defense, better boxing ability, better footwork, better insert the blank.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's fair.
X Factor. To me, the X Factor is going to be what Canelo shows up here. Is it going to be the same Canelo that shows up with John Ryder and just beats him for 12 straight rounds and goes to a decision? Or with another countryman in front of him on May 4th weekend, are you going to put it together and say, hey, enough's enough. I'm taking this guy out.
And I'm glad you brought that up because you said what Canelo's going to show up, because these last couple fights, it seems like we're getting a Canelo that may not have that same fire in the belly as he once had.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And then when you hear him saying on interviews, I could do whatever I want. I'll fight whoever I want. I could make same amount of money fighting anybody fighting anybody than I can fighting David Benavidez. And then you have his manager saying, "Oh, we're at the stage where we have to start being conscious of the fights that we take now because we're closing towards the end." So you have to ask yourself, is one foot out the door? He says he wants to fight 5 more years. I don't see that happening. I think he probably has maybe 3 years tops. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires after 2 more years, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So when you say what Canelo shows up, my question is this Canelo that has been showing up the Canelo that we're going to have moving forward? Because again, when you make a certain amount of money and you've done so many things in your career, what makes you get out of bed in the morning to want to hit that pavement, to want to go to that gym, and to want to hit, do that sparring or whatever you have to do to get ready for the fight? What is inside Canelo? What is that driving force right now? Because again, the best guy that you could fight at 168 was David Benavidez. Supposedly you don't care about that. So now what do you care about? You tell the fans, I'm going to fight whoever I want. I don't care what the fans want, whatever. So what does that tell you?
Crawford.
The end is near.
Crawford's the big fight.
Yeah.
Crawford is going to be that big fight. It's not going to be Benavidez. I've told you guys, it's not going to be Benavidez. It's going to be Crawford.
I'm being optimistic, but we'll see.
Yeah. And finally, who wins? I think Canelo. I think you are going to see glimpses of the old Canelo here. I think that a lot of it, he's tailor-made for Canelo. He really is. I mean, if Canelo can't knock this guy out, if I'm Crawford or anybody else, I'm flooding that gate. I'm making a beeline. He should be able to knock Jaime Mungia out. He shouldn't have any problems from Jaime Mungia.
And you made a great point. When I mentioned John Ryder and I mentioned Charlo, these guys going the distance with Canelo, Golovkin. But Munguia is a different kettle of fish. You're telling me that he's going to go right at Canelo. He's going to go punch for punch. He's going to take a lot more chances than these other guys did. And he's going to be a lot less defensively minded.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, it's not out of the realm that Canelo could break that KO drought in this fight. And he's due for a knockout. So I'm going to go Canelo by decision, but I would not be shocked if he gets a 10th or 11th round stoppage here. But I'm gonna go with Canelo by decision because I do think Munguia is a big, strong kid. He has a lot of heart, and I don't think he knows that this is the Mexican pride is on the line here. I think he's gonna kick it up an extra notch here. Yeah. Question is, if Canelo doesn't kick it up an extra notch, does this fight become all of a sudden interesting? I'm telling you, I'm somewhat intrigued because I want to know where Canelo's head is at right now, because something's telling me that it may not be where it needs to be. I could be wrong. I'm not saying he didn't train for the fight. I'm not saying he didn't take the fight serious, but subconsciously, can he get up mentally for Jaime Mungia? Does he feel there's a threat there enough to make him take it to the next level in preparation and in the fight?
Let me give you some stats here. Let's see here. Canelo Alvarez minus 600 favorite over Jaime Mungia. Jaime plus 425. Now,
Correct.
in what I think may be even a somewhat competitive fight, Naoya Inoue is minus 1,400 over Luis Neri. Luis Neri is a plus 800 favorite or a dog. But the fact that plays, that's in Japan, I get it, man. And he's always going to be way favored. Go ahead.
You want to hear some crazy?
Yeah.
You go back to the Bivol fight, Canelo was a minus 700 and Bivol was a plus 500. So Munguia is less of a favorite, less of an underdog than Bivol was.
Yeah. I just, like I said, maybe it's because I followed, we've both followed Jaime from the start to the finish here of his career, right? And I remember the one thing I remember about him and his career, all right, is when I think Triple G had called him out. They were going to fight and they wouldn't let him fight. You remember that when the commission said, no, we're not going to let this fight happen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Not experienced, but he had like 30 fights at that point. I mean,
Correct.
He had like something crazy up there, and they said, no, we're not going to.
But they let Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather in his boxing debut. Go figure.
Mike Tyson's fighting Jake Paul. Right. Jesse, Blog Talk is not working again. You're 100% right because Blog Talk sucks. They are the worst program ever. They suck. Awful. So we both pick Canelo. I think Canelo's knocking him out within 10 rounds. And do you think it's an exciting fight? I don't think it's an exciting fight at all. I think it's a one-sided fight, man. I really do.
People are going to get mad at me when I say this. Canelo is either in there's no middle ground in my opinion with Canelo, right? It's either a real firefight or it's kind of like an uneventful fight. Because here's the thing. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. He's very economical. And in recent fights, he's become even more economical. Throws one punch at a time. If a guy isn't pressing him, he doesn't seem to put his foot on the gas as much as he did before. Like, it's almost like I'll just win the rounds. I'm not like in the John Ryder fight. It almost looked like, and I don't want to make accusations here, that he just took his foot off the gas pedal and said, you know what? This guy's taking my shots. I'm just going to probably just win a decision here.
We talk about this all the time about like those gentleman type agreements.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where there's an unspoken agreement. You don't hit me hard and I'm not going to press you. I'm going to win these rounds. I'll let you finish.
He didn't press Triple G in that much in the third fight. Didn't look like he was pressing Ryder that much.
Triple G was just kind of a shell in that third fight.
And then in the Charlo fight, everyone's saying, "Oh, Charlo just ran from him, he evaded him." But again, like, you didn't really go after him either. You know what I mean? Like, you said to yourself, "Okay, I'll just pick and prod at this guy and land a good shot every now and then, and I'll just win the round." So I'm right. In other words, he's not gonna go out of his way to overextend himself to try to get a guy out of there anymore. Like, if he lands that shot, he lands that shot, but he's not going to try to force it any. Like, not that he would force something that's not there.
He's not going for it. If it's not,
he's not going for it. He's not going for it.
Creating opportunities to make it happen.
Correct. Like, if he knows that he can cruise system mentality when you get older.
Yeah,
they all do that.
The pay-per-view, it's got some good names on it. But they look like showcases to me.
Yeah, there's going to be no surprises on this card.
Is the pay-per-view worth it?
No,
I don't think it is either. I'll be honest with you.
Sorry.
Listen, if you're a Canelo fan or whatever, you're going to buy it. Go ahead and buy it, man. Maybe if you're on the fence about it, probably go ahead and buy it. But if you're looking for I don't know, it's not. I'm not going to buy it. I know you're not going to buy it. We'll watch it, but we're not going to. I mean,
the undercard is very weak.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry. I don't think this fight is a horrible fight, but it's just not the fight that I want. No. So why am I going to reward you if you're not giving me the fight I want, and you're telling me I don't care what you think? I've seen him in interviews say when people ask him, "Oh, everyone wants the Benavidez fight." I don't care what you want. I don't care what they want. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. Okay, you don't care about me, then I'm not gonna put my dollars behind you anymore. It's that simple. You tell me, you say that enough times, and enough people and enough fighters say that enough times. Guess what? You're gonna start losing people. And you wonder why these pay-per-views are dropping, right? It's not because everybody's cheap. It's because the fans are getting sick of being shit on.
What was the pay-per-view? Did we ever hear of the pay-per-views for the
Garcia-Haney
fight? Yeah.
Now they're floating a number. They're saying 1.5 million, but that's a rumor.
Yeah, that's BS.
Then I'm hearing like 500,000, 400,000. I would not be surprised if it's in the 400,000 to 500,000 range, and I think that's a good number considering the climate we have today.
Listen, I think it was a lot less than that, and I'm going to tell you why.
You could be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying
listen, if that pay-per-view was a blockbuster, we would have heard about it.
Well, that's what everybody
those numbers says. By Wednesday. They get those numbers by Wednesday.
And you may not get the official numbers, but
I bet it was around 300,000.
Yeah, you have about
300.
Yeah, you have a projected number when you can have some sort of idea. You know what I mean?
They know where the pay-per-views are headed.
You could see where the trends are, and you could see who was doing what. So.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a. Let's see here. Says the fight. Yeah, we haven't seen any real news people drop those numbers.
Yeah.
And the problem is because they're not good and they're not public.
And here's the thing too, man. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm not hearing a lot of buzz around these Canelo fights anymore like we used to.
No, but Canelo, I mean, the thing about Canelo is, I mean, it's like he can fight whoever and make a truckload of money. But especially when he fights. Think about it. He fights on the biggest fight days ever. You know what I mean? September 16th, May 5th, the two biggest Mexican holidays, or one American holiday, one big Mexican holiday, because May 5th is not that big in Mexico. It's bigger here than it is in Mexico. So,
but you said it yourself last week. You said Ryan Garcia is a bigger star than Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely. Right now, yeah, him and Tank are the money men right now.
He was shadow boxing in front of Trump the other day, Ryan Garcia. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that. He's crazy. I love it.
He was in Mar-a-Lago with Trump, baby.
Crazy Ryan is not my new favorite. He can't go back. I don't want to see humble Ryan anymore. I want to see crazy Ryan. I want to see him at nightclubs, down in bottles of Jack Daniels, everything, right before the fight. That's who I want to see. And if he's not on my TV, I'm not watching him. All right? Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it is. All right, let's talk about the news and rumors this week. Not a whole lot going on. I was for sure thought we would get that pay-per-view number.
Yeah.
But
I was interested in that.
Yeah. It had to be listen, we can guess all we want, and it's just our opinion. It's around 300,000. That would be my opinion of it, because if it was 400,000 or 500,000, I think we probably would have heard that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad number. That's a good number. De La Hoya talking about 1.5 million. You're a moron. We all know that's not the number. Gavin's Go says cringe rye. I don't care, man. I don't care. All right. Let's talk about Riyadh Season, baby. August 3rd. Babe, did you see this card?
I did.
Did you see this card?
I did.
My main man, Turki Al-Sheikh, friend of the show, by the way, honorary friend of the show, Turki Al-Sheikh, who I would say is probably the best promoter in the business right now. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
What lies have I told?
None.
There you go. Terrence Crawford, August 3rd versus Israel Madrimov. All right.
I love it.
154-pound title. That's not a bad fight. Not a
Love
bad
it.
fight. Let's go with it. Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz. Is that a separate pay-per-view, Beeb?
No, same card.
Same what? That's the same card.
Don King style.
Same card.
Don King style.
Same card.
You're right.
Isaac Cruz versus Jose Valenzuela. Same card. Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Miller. That's a fun fight.
Good
Same
fight.
card.
Very
David
good fight.
Morrell on the card versus I don't know, how do I pronounce this guy's name? Radivojii Kalajic.
And this is a guy that lost.
We recognize him. We've seen him, but
he lost a split decision to Marcus Brown. Very competitive fight.
Very good fight.
And the only other loss was against Betterbeef, who was knocked out in 5 rounds. This guy is a knockout puncher. He's 6'3", 76-inch reach, 21 knockouts in like 27, 28 fights. This guy's got a good record. He can punch a bit. So this is an intriguing fight. This is a tough fight for your first fight moving into a new weight class. It's not a cakewalk.
No.
So this is a good fight too.
And I'll tell you what, Andy versus Big Baby, that's a good fight. It's a fun
You said
fight.
it. You said it. It's a fun fight. Andy's coming off a 2-year layoff. We've seen Andy against Areola show some vulnerability in that fight. Didn't look as great. Luis Ortiz, he had some rough patches in that fight as well. I had it even in rounds, but Andy won. Andy won because of the knockdowns. So
right.
And Andy's got a lot to prove, man. So we'll see if he can do that against Jarrell Miller.
And finally, Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran, Cuban Andy Cruz. So listen, man, that's an insane card.
Yeah.
That's a Don King card. Double shock power. That's Don King, baby.
People loved that June 1st card with Better Beef Bivol and all you have Wilder versus Zhang.
Oh, that's ridiculous too.
But now, like, you have to ask yourself which one is better. It's almost a coin flip, right?
That's insane. Are these pay-per-view worthy?
Yes.
Are you not entertained?
I'm entertained.
My man, Sheik.
I just feel bad for Robert, man. He ain't gonna be able to afford all these pay-per-views, but he won't be going to Applebee's for the rest of the year.
That's too bad. That's too bad. All right. So I tell you, man, that's Riyadh. It's the new Las Vegas now.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong? It's the new Las Vegas.
It is. Well, here's the thing. This card here, August 3rd, is going to be in California, I believe. So this isn't even going to be in Saudi. They're doing this card in California, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah, they're doing this in the United States. So this is a game changer because Turki Al-Sheikh's going to be doing a card in the UK. So these cards that Turki Al-Sheikh's going to be putting together, they're not just going to be. Yeah, it's in LA. So these cards are not going to just be inside. He's going all. This truly is, to quote Frank Warren, this is a game changer, man.
Turki Al-Sheikh is the biggest name in boxing right now.
I'm hearing people say,
no question.
Well, you can't just keep doing fights in Saudi, man. The Americans ain't going to be able to
who cares?
Want to watch the time zone. Guess what? You don't have to worry about that. This is going to be in LA. Prime time.
And let me tell you what, tough. If he goes and does it on Saudi time, I'm okay with that.
I'm still going to watch it. It's better for me.
I'm still going to watch it.
I won't fall asleep.
Listen, you're looking at a guy right now who stayed up all night to watch Floyd Mayweather versus Tension. All right? I was up at 5, 6 in the morning watching that stupid fight. And then we did a show on it like two minutes later.
Guys in the chat, I mean, if you want to donate to the Robert Herrick pay-per-view fund, feel free to do that via Super Chat, because the guy's going to have a hard time paying for all these pay-per-views. And I can assure you this money will go straight to Robert Herrick. We set up.
It doesn't go to the Eric Needs a Sports Car Fund at all.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Won't.
No.
I mean, I was on the phone with Robert the other day. We set up We set up a PayPal account for him exclusively. I had to do it over the phone. So we have a way to make sure that Robert gets these funds. So feel free to just give the super chats, and this will be the Robert Herrick pay-per-view fund.
All right. Gino Tamayo, thank you so much for your question. He says, how true is it that Floyd is stuck in Dubai?
I have no idea.
We have no idea. No idea. So for those of you who have not heard this, Tank Davis went on social media and said that, he was pissing on Floyd, basically. He was, really running him down. But he said that Floyd's stuck in Dubai because he refuses something about he owes somebody money or he owes some money. Beeb, you know a little bit more about this than I do.
The rumor I heard, and it sounds crazy, so I'm not saying it's true or not.
Yeah.
But they're saying he bought some jewelry in Dubai and he didn't pay for it. He owed money or some shit. I have no fucking idea. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
Gavin's Ghost says, I got a government cheese sandwich for Robbie. There you go. I love it. I love it. MAW. Thank you so much, my friend. He said, smash that like button.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, everybody in the chat, hit the motherfucking like button.
There it is. There it is. Nobody says it like the Robert. All right. Errol Spence and Derek James, brother. Lovers quarrel here.
This is pretty sad.
Suing each other. They're both suing each other. Derek James is suing him for like $5 million. I think Errol Spence says, no, I'm suing you. Beeb, this is where does Spence go from here? As far as trainers go, where does he go next?
I don't know, man.
Because nobody cares about these lawsuits. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get paid. It's going to settle out of court. Nobody cares. But where does I found this because I had heard rumblings about they have split and everything like that.
Yeah,
funny how that happens after a knockout loss. But that being said, where does he go from here? I mean, let's face it, you're not going to get a top-tier trainer like Teddy Atlas. So let's just put that out the window here.
No.
Because he's the GOAT. So
well, I'm not going to say he's the GOAT, but
you're going to sit here and hate again, right? You're going to sit here and hate again, just like you did with that girl. You called that girl fat the other day. Just a few, like literally less than an hour ago, you were on the show calling her fat.
I mean, she did look a little portly. We have to be fair here. We have to be
wow.
A little portly.
She was 114 pounds, Beeb.
I mean, she looked a little thick.
Since she had to take an aerial photo. Jesus. What's the matter with you?
Who it is? Yeah, Ronnie Shields may be a he's
Bomac. Kelly King says Bomac. Do you think Bomac and Errol Spence would work well together? I mean, take Crawford out of it, obviously. Obviously, it's not going to happen. Take Crawford out of it. But do you think that Bomac could make a difference with Errol Spence?
Not at this stage, no.
Yeah, I don't either. Rob McCracken.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't either.
Ronnie Shields, I think, is a good one.
Yeah. Spence should work with Freddie Roach. I don't know about that. Yeah, I think Freddie, I don't know. Last time he was in the corner, I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Yeah, he's kind of slowed down a bit.
Yeah, and then like everybody jumps on me like I'm the bad guy, Well,
we know you're an ageist.
Sure.
You want to put these guys out the pasture, man.
Because I age in reverse. You know what I mean? All right, guys, that is the news. And that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. I'm sorry that Blog Talk sucks and you guys could not call in this time. I guarantee I will have it working or have something working next week. Listen, I don't guarantee that. Listen, if it happens, it happens. All right? I'm just saying that.
We don't make promises we can't keep.
This is Ringside Reporter, baby.
We want you to just keep your hopes up high, though. We want to.
Yes, I don't want to dash anybody's hopes.
Don't give up on us. We're trying.
What about Ben Davidson? What about Ben Davidson for Errol Spence? Would that work?
No.
Wow, that was a quick no, too.
He's not coming to the United States to train Errol Spence. There's no way.
Well, let's just be in a perfect world. What if he went to the UK?
He won't do that.
How do you know? How do you know? What do you mean? You know him? Stop it.
Judging by some of the interviews I've seen with Errol Spence, I know what type of person he is.
you know what's happening.
I got a good read on him. Sugar Hill's another one.
Sugar Hill's a good one. Yeah, Sugar Hill's a good one.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Yeah.
Aaron Daly says, I thought you were going to leave Blog Talk. It's like I don't want to say it because I don't want to get, me
we
too.
don't want to get canceled, but they're
know what I'm talking about, though. It's that kind of relationship where you go back.
We have this love-hate relationship with Blog Talk where they kind of, I don't want to use the words, but
I don't want to use the words.
I don't want to go there with you.
Stop it. I don't want to even use the action.
We keep running back. We
do. We're suckers. All right. You want to catch Beeb on Twitter or X at jhabib1. Our YouTube channel is at ringsidereporterlive.com. And you can find me on X at ringside73. Guys, we will see you next week.